WWE release a long-serving talent. Buddy Matthews' AEW booking plans are revealed, and multiple former WWE stars made their New Japan Pro Wrestling debut last night. It's all in the wrestling news right now. Our hearts, like the Spanish announce table, are broken this morning. Okay, cute start, I know.
That's good.
Genuinely gutted.
Yeah.
Like, this is the end of an era in WWE. Carlos Cabrera, the lead announcer on the Spanish side of the commentation station for WWE, has been released from WWE after 29 years of service. Wow. Carlos Cabrera was on commentary for Raw during the New Generation era, the Attitude era, the pipe bomb era, the reality era, I think we call it, the ruthless aggression era, and a big chunk of the modern era. He's been there and he's been the voice for all of it. And Carlos Cabrera, as well as being a voice for wrestling, like his tones are used in a lot of adverts in Latin America and stuff like that. So he's renowned. He's a name. He's a voice. He's a face. And he's done with WWE. And I'm really sad. I'm smiling because he's one of those guys that whenever you saw him, even if you weren't watching it in Spanish, there was a comfort that came from it.
Right, and that's the thing as well, is literally just before we started recording this news, being a kid and watching the WWE pay-per-views, not having Sky and having access to, like, the weekly Raws and whatnot, when the pay-per-views came on and they ran down the commentary desks, when you got to Carlos, oh my goodness, he was going crazy. Like, he was so full of enthusiasm, and you could really see his passion for what he was doing as well, which was so good to see.
Him and Hugo Savinovich were just amazing voices. It was Hugo that broke the news actually on Lucha Libre Online, and from here we don't know in terms of like the Spanish announce team. We don't know what's going to happen in terms of a lead. It's possible that Marcelo Rodriguez, who replaced Savinovich, will move to a play-by-play position. Possibly Jerry Soto staying on full-time as the color commentator, but we will see on that one. But nothing but love and respect for Carlos Cabrera.
Absolutely.
Right? You don't have to listen to the Spanish commentary to know what a force of nature Carlos was. I mean, the poor guy did his job hosting a wrestling show more often than not without a table.
Yeah. Bless them
It
much.
became a trope.
It's a meme, isn't it? It's just what unfortunately happens to them all the time. And you know what? They still stuck to it. They sat there without a desk and they put their hearts into it. So all the best.
Best wishes going forward for whatever happens next. Whichever company's lucky enough to get the pipes of Carlos Cabrera on their broadcast, they're going to be doing all right. Let's head over to the AEW side where Carlos Cabrera is all elite. No, I'm joking. Let's head over to the AEW side. Buddy Matthews rumbled to be possibly rocking up. What do we know this morning, Andrew?
So Meltzer on The Observer has said, on Dynamite, they had Malachi Black and Brody King hint about a third guy, and I did hear some talk that Buddy Matthews would be the third guy. It's certainly been something talked about. And now, Tom, if you recall some little promos and such back in the day when Tommy End, was slowly turning into Malachi Black, we also got one of Buddy Matthews in a detention centre. He was in the yard, right? And there was some little connections there between Malachi Black's. I think it was the same doctor from Malachi Black's promo as it was in the one for Buddy Matthews as well. And there was some connections in there. And I was thinking, my goodness, Buddy Matthews is sure to be in AEW within a matter of weeks, a matter of days, and yet it didn't come to fruition. But this is looking more and more likely now.
Top marks to Buddy Matthews as well. What a wonderful idea to do a promo video when you leave WWE if you're busting out of a detention centre or a prison. I don't know why I didn't think of that, or no one else did. A lot of people connected him with AEW when he was let go. Me personally, I was like, get yourself over New Japan.
Yeah.
Get yourself on a flight to
It'd be a
Japan.
good fit.
bring some stars in the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah.
Like I still think he could. I still think he. Obviously, we've seen him doing stuff for New Japan Alpha of America. Him and Okada had a belter recently, and I think there's lots to be said there. But I like the idea of him having a stage like AEW.
Yeah.
To ply his trade. I think he's so good.
He's so good.
So good.
He and Aleister Black were some of the best parts of WWE in 2019. You know, they had a stellar match at TLC 2019. It was phenomenal. Probably one of the best matches on that card, I think, as well. And to see them both together as a unit, I'm very excited to see that, because whilst they work well together against each other, I think together with their minds melded with Brody King, we'll get some really good stuff with the House of Black, which I'm glad to finally be seeing broadened a little bit more now.
You mentioned the great chemistry they had, and like WWE gets criticised a lot for sort of repetitive booking, and I feel like Malachi Black, as he was then Aleister Black, and Buddy Matthews, as he was then Buddy Murphy, kind of just stuck two fingers up to that and just went, fine, we're just going to have a banger every time you book this, whether it's a 20-minute one or like I seem to remember on a few of the Performance Center pandemic era Raws, they had like 2.5 minutes,
they were quick,
and they just went for it, and I love that. So I'm excited to see what Buddy Matthews could do as part of A and E and Dub.
Yes.
Mentioned New Japan very briefly there. It was a busy night for New Japan Strong. Rivals had their tapings in Hollywood. New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Rivals, the show was. And there's quite a few former WWE stars rocking up. Gran Metalik, Mascara Dorada appeared. He called out TJP. They look like they want to roll back the years on 205 Live. The week that 205 Live finally disappears is the week that Gran Metalik and TJP find each other once again.
Oh, bless them. Back in the days where Sam Driver wouldn't weep at what 205 Live had become.
205 Live is not a place, it is a spirit, it is an energy.
Lives on.
And 205 is alive in Mascara Dorado. keep on keeping on. Shane Haste is back. He turned up in New Japan Rivals to help out Jonah and bad dude Tito. The mighty don't kneel.
The mighty don't kneel.
They certainly don't kneel. Shane for me was when that round of cuts came around that he was involved in. I think it was the November ones.
Yeah.
He was a genuine bit of gallows humour that night.
Yes.
Because the tweets that he was lighting up just going, oh, shouldn't have answered me phone, among other things. And since then, he's just had a lot of fun. And I feel like he's, again, another one of those guys that now he's back out there.
He can just do what he wants to do, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I think a lot of people wanted to do in WWE. They didn't really get the chance to shine, did they? And now they're like, well, I had a period of time where I couldn't do what I wanted to do. Now it's time to do what I wanted to do.
Very much like Shane Strickland.
Oh.
Former Isaiah Swerve Scott answered Jay White's US of J Open Challenge and made his first in-ring appearance since leaving WWE. Obviously, he's popped up in other places. Progress Wrestling match, I believe this weekend.
I think so, yeah.
Taking on Ilya Dragunov. Not Ilya Dragunov. Cara Noir.
Yes.
Oh, that's another story for another time. That's another story for another time. So he's getting into it in the UK. If you don't come out to Shaka Khan, I will be very, very upset, and I'll send a strongly worded email. But he was, so first time back in the ring since leaving WWE. He hasn't missed a beat. Shane Strickland's great. And to what you said about these guys who go out there and go, right, I'm now going to go out and, speak my truth. WWE barely scratched the surface with Shane Strickland.
It's crazy to say he got put onto the main roster as well, and then nothing ever really came of it. It's a waste. It's a huge waste, and I'm almost sort of glad now that he's gone and he's kind of, as you were saying before, sort of sticking his fingers up at WWE and being like, look what you missed out on. As the same with a lot of these people as well, because they really missed out on so many. We've said it so many times, but they missed the ball, didn't they? Yeah,
exactly. And I'm excited to see. It's going to be an interesting year in 2020. Already shaping up to be an interesting year in the world of the wrestling. The Cultaholic podcast back later on today. Matthew, Jack, and Ross talking about this bloody week in the wrestling, among other things. Are you twitching tonight?
I very well could be, as long as the storm doesn't blow the office away.
Storm.
Irma today? Eunice.
Eunice. Storm Eunice tonight blowing across the UK. If you have hatches, please make sure you batten them down. And please try not to walk any very small dogs today. Because they could become kites very quickly.
Oh, that sounds kind of fun, actually.
That's your weather update from the Cultaholic Wrestling Radio Network. Travel news on the way. And more wrestling news at cultaholic.com as well. Keys.
Love you, bye.
Ed Sheeran next.